Good morning and thanks for joining me. We are going to be pruning this blueberry bush. It's the last day of February, and in Tennessee it's a good time to go ahead and prune these things before they start growing for the season. Okay, the first place we're going to start when we're pruning a blueberry bush is the bottom. So check out all these little branches. What you want to look for are the oldest canes. You don't want any of the old ones. The old ones aren't producing much and they're just sucking up energy from the soil. So what you're looking for is comparing the outside. Of course, the size is one indicator, but also the amount of this lichen stuff right here. The more of that you see, the older the cane is. And what you want to do is you want to clear out and leave 5 or 6, maybe 7 of the youngest canes. You don't want anything older than 6 years old. So another thing that you're looking at, as you look at these canes, you can see on these younger canes, the growth is much more flexible. It doesn't have the brittle exterior, whereas these older canes, as you start to bend them, they're a lot more brittle, and you'll have these little twigs breaking off in your hands as you check them out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut off the biggest canes first. So as you can see, I'm just going through, I'm clipping anything that's dead, obviously, and then the oldest canes, and trying to leave 6 or so of the youngest and most productive canes. So with blueberry bushes, we work from the ground up. After we get out the big stalks that we're not going to keep, what we're going to do is go in and find these weaker, low branches, because they don't get any sunlight once these things put on leaves. So this part's really simple. Anything that looks like it might be shaded, you want to clip it off. Another thing we want to do is any branches that actually point toward the interior of the bush, get rid of those, because they get shaded out by the exterior, and they are basically this just shady neighborhoods that steal from the neighborhoods that get the sunlight. So pruning bushes is a lot like any other area of life. If it's not getting resources, it's not going to be productive, and it's just going to steal from other things in your life. So give it more resources or cut it off. Here's another telltale sign that a limb needs to go. So this is kind of on the interior of the bush. It doesn't get a lot of sun. And if you look, I don't know if I can get it to focus here. Yeah, there's no buds anywhere on this. And this time of year, you should start to see some swollen buds like these here. So when you see the if you see swollen buds all over the plant, and you see a whole limb here that has none, that is a good limb to prune. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to work these top sections, and we're going to try and eliminate several of these little top sections. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from the oldest growth first. So if you can see, these have that new color. This is new growth. It's going to be much more productive than this old growth, which I don't know if you can see that from there. There are very few buds swollen on this old growth, and this new growth has tons of swollen buds. So we just want to go through and nick them off. Okay, don't be afraid to get aggressive here, because you want to allow sunlight to permeate this bush as much as possible and only have productive vines left in your bush. So here's another thing you want to look for. Any branches that are damaged. This one has been broken off, but not completely, so the plant is trying to continue to grow it. But this, even though it does have buds, it'll never be as productive as a truly new shoot that is growing off of a part of this stem, an actual bud. So this right here will be very productive, where the one that I tore off will not be. So
as you can see as I walk around this, almost everything that I'm leaving on here has buds that are going to produce something this year. And I'm tearing off or breaking off anything that's brittle, anything that is kind of looking a little dead or unproductive. Don't be afraid to overdo this. This is an old bush. We just moved here last year, but I don't think this thing was pruned for several years. We're trying to salvage what we can. Honestly, I probably should prune back more of this, but I would like blueberries this year. And then we're planting some blueberry bushes that will hopefully keep a little bit better pruned as they grow.
So hopefully you can see a huge difference here. You can see that, like, as the summer goes on and you grow leaves on these bushes, now more areas of the bush are actually going to get sunlight because we don't have all of the excess limbs around the outside, and we don't have any lower limbs whatsoever that we have to deal with. So everything that we're picking off of this plant in the summertime will be up here, so we're not bending over in the ground to pick our blueberries. So I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed it. Follow, like, subscribe, whatever. Comment below if you have some tips for people, so you know, we can all have some abundant blueberry harvest. And anyway, till next time, keep growing.